Hey, all you viewers and speedrunners and whatever uh, people out there watching this, I guess. So, I'm making this mainly to address the additional notes of suggesting a new speedrun to, speedrunning game to speedrun.com because I would like to enter this game, Madness Retaliation, as a new game to be run, specifically in the 100% and any percent categories, with 100% entailing exploring the entirety 100% of the map and collecting all lockers, just like emptying them all, just getting all the items. Um, and so I'd like to go over that a little bit. And any percent being basically just completing like any amount of the map, and it doesn't matter. Like just as long as you beat the auditor in the end, I suppose. A lot more loose terms there, but still, I figure to complete the game in the quickest amount of time, you'd still have to get some pretty high level gear. Like you'd probably end up going for Hank gear and Damo. Hank gear and Damos Sanford gear. But so to explain a little bit, the run that I am submitting with this new game suggestion for speedrun.com, I took this route. Now this is what I think is so interesting about the game, and why I think it would make a excellent running game is I think that there's actually like this is a very rudimentary route. I just wanted to get this game on the table. I wanted to put it out there and just see what people thought, because I think it's a really cool game for a flash game, and it's very nostalgic for me. Um, the routing is meant to not backtrack much, but backtrack just enough to where you get stuff that will like the gear scaling in this game is kind of funky. Um, like once you get towards the late game, like pretty much after you get keycard 3, everything becomes like I'm not gonna say easy, but like a lot more handleable, manageable. I guess would be the right word. Um, but it's like if you go like along a certain path, you can take a gear scaling that works for you just right, and gets you through the game with pretty minimal backtracking. That's what I tried to route for. But I think that the routing can be improved even more. I think that I think that this is just like a little clunky and rudimentary. Like I just put this out on the table just so I could start this up. I'd love to see a community for it. I think there's a lot that could be improved here. Like my run, um, I made a lot of like silly mistakes. Like there's a lot of rooms that I haven't strategized for yet. I think there's a lot of potential in being faster with making good strategy on the fly. Um, like that's a huge thing about this game. Like knowing how to manipulate RNG and where enemies will like end up at the end of turns, and what weapons to have equipped and when, and what armor to use on what people. Like I think that's pretty solved. Like I have an idea, and I could probably post like theory and stuff about that later, if it picks up. Um, but yeah, I think that there's just like a lot of potential for time to be saved, and strategic improvement, and routing improvement, and just like improvement overall. I think that this game is really cool and it has a lot of depth um, when it comes to speed running, I suppose, or it has a lot of potential. So I'm just gonna explain how I made the splits. So here I'm gonna pull up my video actually. So the Madness Retaliation 100% speedrun that I did has a few different splits. I made these basically in um, I suppose um, I don't want to say like distance traveled, but like there's basically like different like areas that you travel through. I suppose. And it's mainly separated by area and by certain points like fights and certain things. Like okay, let me explain. So this entire first red route, key one, is just basically getting the first key. It's that opening, very rudimentary like time where you just have like the base pistols and the knives, and you're just running through the opening as quick as possible, like you're trying to get that key one, so you can do that first section of backtracking and then take this area that you should only go through once, in theory. So I try to like split it by area. Like you get this, and then new areas open up to you. You have the first key. You go down here. This is all post key one stuff, and then once you hit down here, it's a different environment. You meet different enemies. You get the zombies. Then once like I made boss splits just to see how fast you fight the bosses. I think that that's pretty helpful, especially for the longer bosses, like Tricky and the Auditor. Well, obviously the Auditor, but Tricky and well, I mean, I guess there's only three bosses, and it's good to know how long it takes you for all of them. But especially Tricky, I suppose. He's a long fight. Um, and so then you have the I made the to the basement split mainly for its long backtracking kind of route, and then also the time it takes for you to like actually like get all these valuable things on the side and actually make your way down to the next area of the game, like the next like legit like big key area, because all of this is just kind of like en route in an intermediary like kind of area. It kind of like looks like most of the rest of the facility, like the environment for the most part, like just this kind of like main area. It's pretty plain. Um, but then you get down here and it's like a darker, like kind of basement, kind of factory environment. So I kind of separated it by like environment there. And you meet like the ATP guys here. This is the next leg after the to the basement. This is the ATP base. Then the Mag Zombies boss, obviously. Now this next split, I made a Club Key Door a split because there is a marginally large amount of backtracking involved here. Um, you actually go back all the way up to this tower from the portal just to get the Sanford and Deimos gear complete. Just because it's so powerful, it pushes you through Clown Town so fast, and that's the important thing. Because this leg is made specifically very short because you have such powerful gear and really good strategic positioning items to play with, and like stun locking kind of things, and it's pretty deep actually. I do suggest watching this part pretty carefully because there's a lot of positioning mistakes upon rewatching that I made, and a lot of improvements to put in another run. And then obviously the tricky fight pretty much puts an end to this area. I mean, like you go back through, but you're pretty much done. You have key number 4 once you get past here. So that's when locker hopping begins, and you're basically getting the important lockers separated from the rest of the environment pretty largely. Like this. No. It's like this one is like way out here. This one's way over here. This one's way over here, and that's like why it's locker hopping is because once you get here, you hop with the PID, preferably somewhere around here first, and then somewhere around here so you can go over here, get the tricky head, and then move up to the next leg. That one takes a while, but I like to make it as like one whole leg just because it's a one whole split rather because it's like your one goal is just finishing up all the rest of the backtracking by hopping around to get to places as quick as possible. In theory, I think this could be a little quicker if you want to play it risky, and after getting this locker right here, maybe hop, but that's a different thing to be discussed in a different video. And then obviously the warp tower is like a quick little trick that I have recorded right here. It's something that I spent a little bit of time routing the fastest way to get through all the rooms of the tower. I might make a video on that at some other point. But that was fun to make. I could pull up a picture. I probably should have done that before recording. But it took me a long time to route through this just warpy mess. You just go to all these different rooms. It's pretty interesting, actually. And then obviously the final boss battle, because that's how games work. So, yeah, just as something to end the video, I feel like I explained like pretty thoroughly my thoughts and like the why this should be added as like a game with mechanical depth and routing depth and just depth in general, I suppose. It's not like just some shallow flash game. Pick up and play and you understand everything. Like playing this game casually is very much different than playing it for a speed run. There are a lot of things that people who don't know this game very well probably would not pick up on, and it really shows. So just as a final example to finish this off, I wanted to kind of show like I wanted to do like a little commentary on battle strategy and like showcase the depth of specifically the tricky fight. Just as an example to kind of close things out, because I wanted this to be pretty detailed and to get my point across pretty well. So this has the best chance possible of being accepted into the game library, because I genuinely believe that it deserves a spot. It's a very good game for what it is, in my opinion. Alright, so I'm gonna do a little commentary. This is gonna be muted, but I'm just gonna like provide like some play-by-play so like you can understand to a really solid degree as to like what I mean about like strategy and changing strategy on the fly and like what optimizations can be made. So starting out here, something that I immediately notice without even seeing anything happen in the battle yet is at this point I should have Deimos equipped with the stronger rifle that you get in one of the... Oh, wait a minute. Whoops, I messed up my... No, this is the best. I forgot that you get the strongest one after this room. Well, yeah, alright, that just goes to show how much I know. But, alright, you know what, let's just do a play-by-play. So, Yep. All right. So the 2x3, yeah, the 2x3 spread of the shotgun, just trying to dish out as much damage as possible, just through this armor, just trying to like get as much damage spread out among this group as I possibly can. Now, why I hook these separate people is because hook guarantees a stun where they won't damage you. So if I don't take all of them out this turn, I have that security. So just kind of picking them off, trying to get these guys down before I start taking down Tricky, because he has fun little things that drop that we're going to see on this turn. Yep, so this is what happens every single time you whittle down his energy bar. He rams a train into you and sends you somewhere random in the room and spawns a bunch of dudes that explode. Some that kill you instantly, like this guy here. Some that stun your party, like that guy there. So you are just trying to basically position yourself as safe as possible between, because smokescreen makes it, I think, 75% chance to miss. So there's pretty much no point in wasting your AP trying to shoot these guys. Your goal is to just position as well as possible, and if you have extra AP, maybe go for an extra whittle down on the energy bar. Like here, no way. There's no way that that's a viable option. But say it's in one of the later turns that you'll be able to see an example of going for a double dip or something along that line. But for now, I'm just trying to avoid this guy because he'll kill instantly. And so every single round, this is why you save your flashes or try to pile up as many as you can up to this point, because you use one essentially every single turn because you can't influence them in the smoke. Well, pretty much you can't. Okay, something there actually important happened that I'll have to explain. So, where was I? Yeah, you just position, because they move a little bit when they're stunned. Usually, you just try to position them around that movement as well as possible, just so your guys don't die instantly. Just after every single little tiny whittle down, you just prepare yourself, essentially. And I think that that's pretty interesting. Now, what happened there is a stun guy exploded, and a lot of my guys could not move, so you just flash and call it a different turn. Or smoke, in this case. So, I try to use the least AP possible here, just so, see, we have like 9 AP, 5 AP, 6 AP to work with, 4 AP. So, once he smokes, there may be a possibility, if I don't have to move that much, which I probably will because most of my guys are centrally positioned, that I can go for another whittle down on the energy bar, just by some crazy possibility. So it's 12 health between every single slice. So I have to be able to hit either 3 shots of this, 1 shot of this and 1 pistol shot, 3 shots of this, or 1 shot of this. So, yep, I'm just trying to get him away from these zombie guys because they will kill instantly. Or, I think it's this guy that will kill instantly. I think the other guy might stun. I'm not sure. I have to check. Yeah, see, I went for a double dip there because I had 9 AP on him, and it actually worked out. But it's going to make things a little bit harder to dodge because there's a lot more people here now. So it's a risk reward. See, that's pretty risky. That could end badly. And I actually forget if it does or not. No, it doesn't. All right, I got pretty lucky. But you see what I mean. See, so a stun guy went off, so yeah, that actually was... The guy wearing the jacket was a stunner. That's another thing that I could remember and implement into my strategy for my next fight. Smoke him out for a round just so that everybody can position themselves correctly. Don't want to take any chances. 2 exploders right here. Gotta move around it. So like by now, you probably get the idea. I just wanted to give an example. Um, Everybody is like pretty well equipped up to this point. Like he's equipped with the full Sanford gear that works with the hook that makes it stun. He's equipped with the full Deimos gear that gives him extra range, which is really important for something like a rifle. Um, that collateral damage is huge. He is up to this point mainly just equipped for highest AP possible, just to be able to use the armor piercing gun as much as possible for guaranteed damage. And he is equipped for essentially AP gain per round, I believe, just so that he can maximize the JHP ammo and the range of the SMG. So that is just a little introductory video, some additional notes. This was on the fly, so I had some sloppy mistakes, like forgetting about some things and speech and whatever. But hopefully you'll excuse that. I just wanted to get this up as quickly as possible, because I'd like to see this become a like a thing. Like I'd like to get a community going and play this game with some people. I think that that'd be a lot of fun. Speedrun, you know, it's it was really fun making this. So thank you so much for watching and taking the time to look at my submission. Anyone over at Speedrun that might be watching this, and I hope it gets accepted. And I suppose that's all I got to say. Thank you much.